Okay, the topic today will be spinal nerves as it leaves the vertebral canal. So here we have the vertebra. Okay, we have a vertebra here. Let me just draw here. As you can see, I made a rough sketch of the vertebra. And I'm just doing here the transverse process, the spinal process, and the body of the vertebra. I can explain about each part of the vertebra. Save like another video to only to talk about the parts of the vertebra. What do you think? I think that's a interesting topic because in the end you will need to know the name of the parts of the bones to understand the where the other structures will lie. Okay. Yeah, so let me just complete this diagram for you. Okay, this part here is the artery of the spinal cord. Okay, the artery of the spinal cord. And I highly recommend you to always review the other videos because it will help to really understand what's going on, because I'm basically trying to build up these lectures in a way that one video complements the next one. So I mentioned that this is the artery of the spinal cord. Let me just label this part, and I'm gonna write with this pen. Oops, something. Artery of spinal cord. Artery of the spinal cord. Okay, so this is a branch of an artery supplying blood to the spinal cord, and travels alongside the spinal nerve as it passes through the intervertebral foramen. Okay, I made this illustration showing the intervertebral foramen. Of course, it's not like this, but it helps you to understand where is the intervertebral foramen. And this ensures that the spinal cord receives adequate oxygen and nutrients, which is also important, okay? So let me continue with the other parts of the vertebra. Just completing here the spinal cord. Gray matter and the white matter. Okay, so what else you can see here? You can see here the this part here. I will have to slightly paint like this. This is representing the ventral root of spinal nerve. Okay. And the dorsal root, you probably remember that the dorsal root is in the dorsal anterolateral, dorsolateral or posterolateral fissure. Let me just confirm. Posterolateral sulcus. Okay, so we have here the dorsal root with also the dorsal root ganglion. Which will probably be around here. Okay, now we have this part here complementing to form this other part. Okay. Okay. I think that it will help you to visualize a little better. So this one is the ventral root of spinal nerve. This one here is the recurrent meningeal nerve. Okay, and supplies the dura mater. And this let's go step by step. Okay, this part here. This is the spinal trunk, the trunk of spinal nerve. Let me label like this. This is the trunk of spinal nerve. Okay, now the main body of the spinal nerve is known as the trunk, and this trunk of the spinal nerve emerges through the intervertebral foramen. And this trunk contains both sensory and motor fibers that will extend to different parts of the body, which we can include muscles, skins, and also skin, muscles, skin, and also internal organs. Now, this part here is recurrent meningeal nerve. Might not be clear in this diagram, but you can have a look at maybe in another textbook. Recurrent meningeal meningeal nerve. Okay, so this one, the recurrent meningeal nerve, accompanies the spinal nerve, and this nerve provides an innervation to the dura mater. Okay, so let me just do something here to the dura mater. And you probably remember that the dura mater is the outermost protective layer of the spinal cord that not only protects the spinal cord but also helps to maintain the structural integrity of the spinal cord. Basically protecting, yeah, protecting especially from mechanical stress. Now what else? We have this part here, which is the ventral root. This one. Never label like this. Crossing the main, it's not nice actually. But ventral root of spinal nerve. Okay, so we have the ventral root of spinal nerve in the vertebral canal, and this ventral root of the spinal nerve, you probably remember that originates from the vertebral canal, and consists primarily from motor neurons that will transmit the signals from the brain and the spinal cord to the muscles, which enable the muscles to make the movement, voluntary movement. And the ventral root is basically responsible for carrying motor commands from the central nervous system, if you want to sum up, okay? So, the dorsal root, okay, I mentioned that originates within the vertebral canal and contains sensory neurons. I mentioned that the dorsal the ventral contains motor neurons. The dorsal, which is this one, contains sensory neurons. And these sensory neurons carry sense information, such as touch, pain, and temperature. And then we have the intervertebral foramen that I mentioned. I made another illustration. That's a small opening between the adjacent vertebra that allows the spinal nerve to exit the vertebral column safely. Okay, and its size and shape varies, usually varies, and and any narrowing, like in conditions such as herniated disc or arthritis, usually can compress the spinal nerve, leading especially to symptoms such as pain, numbness, and also weakness. Now, there are a few clinical information that I believe that is relevant. And why? Because understanding the anatomy of the spinal nerve, and how it leaves the vertebral canal, especially for you that is in the medical field, it will be essential in diagnosing and treating conditions. I can address some specific conditions such as sciatica, radiculopathy, and spinal stenosis. And these conditions often involve compression or irritation of the spinal nerve roots as they pass through the intervertebral foramen. So, because this is clinically relevant for you medical student or for physiotherapists, chiropractors, osteopaths, acupuncturists, and also masseurs. So this is the topic that I want to share with you today. I hope this clarifies and brings more awareness on how important is to understand the spinal nerve, and how it leaves the vertebral canal. Yeah. So I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks so much, and see you next time.